Ho ho hippity ho. Here we go. Fuck. This is crazy. This is freaking crazy. Oh man. Oh. Oh. It is what it is, right? Yeah. So yeah. Nah, it's just doing the live stream with the OBS. I don't know. I guess I'm getting the hang of it. Must be. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, I got a lot of shit going on. Now, is my live stream noticed? Because, yeah, I guess so. I don't fucking know. Oh, who cares? Whatever. You know, it's too fucking weird. Let's see. Let's see. Let's have a boo. Oh. See the. Cause like, oh fuck. I got private on one, public on the other. You should be able to just hit a button through OBS, goes through YouTube, boom, done, deal. You're on live stream. That's it, and that's all. That's what it should be. But hey, so I don't know if it alerts. I don't know what the hell it does. You know, but whatever. I'm stubborn. Fuck, I'll just keep at it. Keep at it till I can't. Oh, fuck. That was fucking tiring, man. I just spent 2 hours just seeing if I could figure things out or not. And that's the other thing. Like, you know, I noticed, like, last time I live streamed, there's people in the chat, but I didn't see anything. I didn't see anybody. Anybody out there? Anyone out there? So, I'm not quite sure how the fuck it's all working. I don't care. But I hate wasting my time. Right? You know, it's bullshit. It's freaking bullshit. Okay, here's a good one for you. Oh, I didn't find in all my stupid trying to go live stream position. I didn't find the other video. Okay, so a day ago we get a video with Chris, the crazy guy. Good guy, man. He's got more balls than most guys. But you know, Chris is, you know, flying in from international, and you know you're a boomer when you got one of those teeth where trying to get. Anyways, at least I still got teeth. But you know, so Chris flies in on the international flight, and he says, "No, no, thank you. And you know, I'm mask exempt, which is fine. And no, thank you. I don't wish to take your test." And he goes over to the cops, and the cops give him a ticket, and he's happy to do that. He shakes the cop's hand when he leaves. So what was it? Within 24 hours, Trudeau changes the criterion that if you don't take the test when you come into the airport, you don't get the hotel, the very expensive hotel, which is questionable now too. You know, the hotel that you got to pay for. It's $2,000. Some are saying it's $1,200. That's a video I didn't bring up. Maybe I'll find it easy enough. But you know, one lady is like $147 a night. Like, it is what it is. But if you don't take the test now, since Chris, now they just beat you up, throw you in a cubicle, you know, in a cage, and take you to an undisclosed place where you're not allowed to talk to anybody. You can't phone a lawyer. You can't see the magistrate. So that means if you cannot see a magistrate, right, habeas corpus has been suspended. Now, I have yet to see anything under the State of Emergency Act that reads habeas corpus has been suspended, right? And I don't see how Trudeau can just come and make these rules. You know, not in this day and age. Like, there's a ghost town up the way here, about 40 miles up, 40 to 50 miles, right? In the middle of nowhere. And there's few people live there, so it's not really a ghost town. But it almost is. And they had a sign from 100 years ago and just over. And it said, you know, spit on our streets, steal our horses, spit on our streets, or mess with our women, you will be hanged. Canadian sign, right? Now, back in those days, they knew that spitting wildly spread the flu, and this is before the only pandemic. This is 30 years before the pandemic. The last flu pandemic that we had. There's no pandemic. I don't see a pandemic. Do you see a pandemic? Which reminds me, I am a fucking legal idiot. Right? I'm not a legal code decipher. I'm not a learned friend, and I'm not part of legal society. Every opinion here, warning, is my own, and what I believe to be true from what I see and what I've seen. So, that's where I sit with that. Oh, I know, it burnt me out just trying. And then my dogs. I was playing some blues, this harp, and that Vietnam vet guy that I was playing last time, and so I was playing some of that, listening to him, and while I was trying to get this whole operation going, and my dog's just howling. And it's funny because my dogs howl at sirens, and they howl at trains, and he was doing the train imitation. You know, I forget the name of it. It's a famous old blues thing, doing the train. There's probably more than one, right? So yeah, I might even bring him back here and play it. But yeah, so Chris gets off the plane and he does his thing, and within 24, 48 hours, Trudeau makes the thing. Okay, now if you act like Chris, if you actually, you know, stand on the rights as a Canadian citizen, okay, a citizen, then now we're going to take you, throw you in a cage, shackle you, beat the fuck out of you if we have to get you in that cage. No habeas corpus, no judge, no magistrate, no lawyer, no phone call, and nobody can know where you are. And I can't believe that Canadians are putting up with this. I can't believe that folks are still sucking in to this bullshit that they're promoting. You know, I don't know if I said this before recently or whatever, but they used the exact same model on this so-called pandemic as they did on global warming. They didn't allow those qualified, anybody that didn't go with the narrative, whether they were in the scientific field or not, they weren't allowed to have public discourse. So we never had scientific public discourse. It was never challenged. And I think Canada has one legitimate environmental scientist, like, and I forget his exact title, and anybody who didn't agree with the narrative, if they were working at universities or whatever, public funding, they were cut off their funding if they spoke up about global warming. Number two, they used bad models. Okay, so they used crappy models that were created by people on purpose to make it look like Manhattan would be underwater in 30 years and other places. Well, it's over 30 years and Manhattan's not underwater, okay? Like all their doomsday predictions from their bad modeling didn't come through. Third, you were socially ostracized if you did not agree with the narrative. So you would be treated racistly, racist, you know. They would come against you, you know. You're ostracized as an anti this, anti that, anti that, you know, anti this, anti that, because you didn't go along. So you're going to be socially beaten into submission. Then they just went ahead with their narrative, and you know, and they're charging for their frickin' carbon tax, and the carbon's not a pollutant. We all know that, you know. Our 30 years of kids growing up think it is, and they think the end of the world's here anyway. So why should the kids even try? Let's not even get into the rest of what they're doing to our kids at our public schools. You know, so everything funded by the public is now non-service of the public. Okay, it's now a commanded mandate from public servants, entitled ones, to come down and declare war on anybody else who's an old stock Canadian, and not just old stock Canadian. I mean, this is going on within every country within the free world. Period. You know, not just common law lands, but also Napoleonic civil code countries that are in the free world. And so the exact recipe they used and got away with the global warming bullshit, they use that same model on the Kung Flu. And that's what they're doing right now. And the more and more it shows, now all their predictions, what they've been saying, everything, you know, all the tomfoolery that they've bankrupted all our nations with are now tomfoolery. So now they're tripling down on it. You don't take people off an airplane and wisp them away to an undisclosed cage somewhere, you know, shackled and beat. And the reason I'm bringing this up is not just to voice in the echo chamber. Oh, 7. Hello, my girl. Let's just deal with this. I don't like the new one going out. Well, she's okay in the day, but it's really weird. She adopted me, and then she seems to be okay in public if she's by herself, but if I'm with her, man, she gets pretty violent if any other dogs come near me. She's very possessive. Hey, what do you say, Tool? That's her name, Tool. Hey, Tool, show everybody your blue eyes. Show everybody your blue eyes. Come on, I'm not making fun of you. Yeah. Walking along the river yesterday, right? The ice is mostly melted, a little bit that we do get out here. Dives right in, walking around drinking. I'm like, how the hell can you do that? So the same thing. They're doing the same thing to us. So, and this is great, you know. Blessings to Chris, you know. God bless that man. But here's what I've been trying to get across, or what I did hope to get across, and do hope to get across to folks. And when you recognize, when you volunteer to be seen as a Canadian citizen, all right? Now there's the nation of Canada, as well as the country Canada, the corporate body, okay? And this is why last year, you know, Trudeau had a general from the armed forces basically declare war on anybody who's a nationalist, right? Anybody of the nation of Canada, right? Not the country Canada, but the nation Canada, right? And anybody who's a Christian, because the Christianity builds on the family unit, and you have to be against the family unit if you're going to act as co-parents, if the family, to suck the family and to trick the family, to probably cage and shackle the family eventually, if they don't allow the so-called co-parents to go ahead and take your 14-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy or 6-year-old boy off to go cut his pee-pee off and turn him into a girl. Kids should be sacred, and they should be protected from predators that have infiltrated our public school system. We need to get rid of the predators, but instead of going after the predators, sexual predators over kids, Trudeau's group, gang, has lessened the time in prison for him, in jail. And instead of going after, street gangs with guns and chainsaws, by the way, if you didn't see I think it was the MS-13 in Toronto with the chainsaws chasing people. That was early into our lockdown days. It was early summer. People were going down by the lake. There's this rental joint, and here's these two tattooed wonders from South America chasing people around with chainsaws. Tory's okay with that. Trudeau's okay with that. What the fuck, eh? So this is so here, and we'll find the other one, but let's just take a quick peek at Mr. Sky. He's hilarious, man.
He's not taking a test. Let's just see how that goes.
Got my bags, and we're gonna go outside. We're gonna refuse their stupid test, and tell everybody to refuse their stupid test. So, yeah. Hi. Yes, because I have a medical condition, so I don't need to wear one. And I'm also a Canadian citizen, and this is a violation of our Charter Rights, Section 6, and a violation of the Emergency Act 14.1. So I'm going to be declining your test today. Thank you very much. No problem. I'll happily do that. Everybody in here, if you are a Canadian citizen, simply deny the test, deny their quarantine, and there's nothing you can do. They cannot stop you. They cannot force you. You are a citizen. You have rights. If you want to wait in the line for 2 hours, let them push it up your nose. Go right ahead. But if you have a brain and you have balls, just say no. That's fine. I have a camera on as well. So, yes, everybody, this is what you do. You say no to their test, no to their quarantine, and if you're a citizen or a permanent resident, there's absolutely nothing they can do but acknowledge that you have rights and they have to respect that. Is that not true? Say it's true for the camera, everybody. Say it's true. I do, of course. That's not a problem. I refuse to take your test 1,000,000%. And everybody in here, Canadian citizens, you can refuse the test. Just say no, don't wait in line, and there's nothing they can do. Okay, I will not yell, that's true. But I just want you guys to acknowledge for 91,000 people watching that anybody can refuse the test. Yeah? Perfect. Thank you. You guys hear that? Straight from the horse's mouth, straight from the police, refuse the test. Ooh, I'm getting a ticket! Oh, not another one of those tickets!
I mean, he's hilarious. Come on. Am I turning red? I hope not. Must be the Canadian flag behind me. So somebody asked me, geez, what's that, Al? Is that like an old BC flag or? Oh, it's a Canadian flag, dude. It's the flag. Well, it was the first part of the corporation, right? The Dominion of Canada, right? Which was also a corporation, which still stands. I mean, the legally the British North American Act, right, which is known as the Constitution, still stands. And if there's any discrepancies over the new, it goes back to the old to be referred to. And this is where, bait and switch is happening again. But anyways, so since Chris did that, and he walked out of there, he got his freaking ticket that, so what did Trudeau do? He turned around and said, if anybody doesn't take the test, now they must take the test, right? Well, he didn't say anybody, any person, okay? Any person. Now, a person defined within Canada is part of the corporate body. Okay? You can think of it as a military setup. You can think of it as a corporate setup. All right? It doesn't matter. When you identify as a citizen, then you are identifying as that person within that office. All right? Now, here's the thing. It's just, you know, what's depressing? It's not the, yeah, I'm going to get off for a second, sort of. But it's not depressing that we have the Laurentian gang, okay, the Trudeau bunch, the Tools, and the whatever his face is there, the Punjab dude, the Sikh dude, and you know, Elizabeth Green, right? It's not so much the fact that everyone is under attack from these people, and that instead of acting as public servants towards the public good and protecting property, which is their first mandate, just attacking, they have declared war. They declared war on your family. They declared war on your faith. They declared war on every aspect of freedom within everyone's lives, or every citizen's life. So it's not just the fact that you're holding that office and that now you are subject to a tribunal, okay? You know, and these aren't real courts, okay? The real court is one man facing whatever, right? And being able to cross-examine his accuser. You know, I thought something was up a few years ago in New Brunswick, when even New Brunswick, they changed the habeas corpus to, they called it something else, you know, keeping the habeas corpus. So even a legal society now is screwed in their own stuff. Even lawyers are going to get screwed. Those even within the legal association are going to get screwed if they're allowed to get away with this stuff. Okay, to make it blunt, as a man, unless I cause harm, unless I do a trespass, they have no lawful right to touch me, to enforce me, to, you know, beat the shit out of me, shackle me, cage me. None whatsoever, unless there's been a trespass. And then even then, if there's been a trespass, I have a right to cross-examine my accuser. I have a right to see a magistrate. If there is no rule of law anymore, then there's just no rule of law. Period. Right? You know, it's like I'm always telling folks, and this is not my original, but, you know, God made man. Man made government to protect property of man. That's exactly why their first and foremost mandate is to protect the property of man. All right? So, if one does interfere with one's right, it's a trespass. So just because these entitled persons, each man, each woman that has a title within the corporate body, just because they have some legal right to identify you as a parasite and take you off to the gulag, doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it lawful. So since this thing with Chris, you know, standing on his Canadian citizens' right, chirping off, reciting constitutions and emergency acts to the coppers, and at the time the coppers, yep, you're right. But today, nope, because, you know why? Because the great child king had just suspended that. I mean, I was just looking at a list, and I don't hear any, well, no, not any. I hear a few folks with political titles, entitled, okay, speaking out about a few things about the lockdowns, okay, but not about the many, many trespasses that this corporate body politic is performing on folks. Free speech is under attack. Freedom of expression. Oh, yeah, there is none in Canada. Yeah, every man, every woman is born with it. It's yours. It came from your creator. Canada is not my creator, right? I may be part of the nation of Canada, but I'm certainly, anything coming from the corporate body politic is a benefit that I can choose to subscribe to or choose not to. And just because there's some benefit within the corporate body that I can subscribe to, then if I find out it causes harm, loss, or injury to I or my family, then I can turn around and rescind my subscription. Simple. Why? Because slavery is outlawed in all its forms. It's crazy to me how many folks, and this isn't just Canada, I mean, it's fucking worldwide, but how many folks, especially in Canada, I mean, you got millions of people in the city and you got like a handful standing up. But, they're why are they allowed to tell children, young ones, at grade school level that they're confused about their gender? Why are they allowed to go against science again? Instead of allowing one to grow up and decide for themselves what person they wish to be seen at, why are they being all confused about it when they're young? They're taking advantage of kids. Man, hormones are raging when you're kids. And they're taking advantage. And this is definitely, in many cases, child abuse. Interfering with your right to travel without being unnecessarily detained is now gone. You're all crying over Raybolt there and her bad fucking, she stood up to Trudeau, so, he dumped her, so she's an independent now. Well, she's still living the dream. She's not living off a CERB, and she's got a bad law in there where the cops can just believe now about whatever they wish and pull you over and unnecessarily detain you all they fucking wish. There's no way to hold these people accountable. They're all hiding behind their titles. Whoa, you can't hold a cop liable. You can't hold blah, 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 blah. Don't fight City Hall. Well, there is. I mean, we still have the courts. And I mean, before it gets any further, we need to use the courts. So, why don't we? Because Trudeau's now bypassing the courts. All right? I mean, for people who do get out, what are they doing to these people? Are they forcing them on the experimental poke? Why are no one is in that is an elected servant is having the discussion publicly about, hey, there are safe meds that are peer reviewed that do work for this pandemic, which is no pandemic at all, right? Do you see it? Do you see people falling down in the streets? Do you see people dying? Do you see the hospitals filled with people just dying? And just getting into the horror stories. I don't know. They're probably going to take me down on this. I don't give a fuck. What I'm trying to get is there's a difference between legal and lawful. Okay, so we got this guy, this crazy guy. Let's finish watching this quickly. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
Tell everybody how many people have been convicted of those tickets in Canada. Answer? 0. How many people have been charged? Thousands. How many people convicted? 0. Why? It's a violation of our charter rights. So when that ticket goes to court, they throw it the out. It's that simple. So I'm waiting for my little fine. Thanks, guys. I just want everybody to acknowledge that this is perfectly legal, perfectly acceptable. Thank you.
What's going on, guys? Oh, hey, Chris.
I gotta walk. They want us to film outside, but they're the most fantastic officers I've ever met.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good. No problems whatsoever. They completely acknowledged. Hey guys. No problem. All right, thank you. Pleasure, guys. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for all your help. Bye.
So, Chris, what happened? I mean, if you go down a few meters, there's a lineup, we were told 90 minutes long to get the test. Looked like a lineup to ride one of the roller coasters at Canada's Wonderland. And you said you're not taking the test, you're not wearing the mask, and you got an express exit out of the airport. Is that what happened?
It's that easy, everybody. I told everybody at baggage claim, I told everybody in the lineup, if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, just simply say, I don't want to do the test. They acknowledged right away. You do not have to do the test. They pulled me right out of the lineup. They just asked me for my ID, and they gave me one of those fancy green tickets that they give you. And then you don't have to wait in a 90-minute line. You don't have to take a stupid test where they put something up your nose, and you don't have to worry about getting a positive result so they can throw you in a hotel quarantine. An older woman, her husband follows me on Instagram, been following me for months. She was driving across the border from Niagara Falls, the land bridge. Her PCR test had expired by 3 hours. So they grabbed her at the border and they took her straight to the hotel. She's a little old lady, she didn't know what the hell to do. So her husband called me and he was literally in tears. He didn't know what to do. And I'm like, give me her number. I'll tell her exactly what to say. You start driving over there right now. And by the time you get there, your wife will be outside waiting for you.
Well, Chris, just to get back to what happened to you tonight, it seemed that your express exit out of the airport came with a catch. You showed me a little ticket that you got. Well, what is that ticket for? Is there a dollar amount or is it just a
Same
summons?
as every other one of those stupid emergency order violations. When you do not comply with any one of their so-called emergency orders, you get that little $750 fine, $880 with taxes.
And you want to go to trial, don't you?
But they don't, and they only have 3 options. Drop it, postpone it, or give me a trial. They won't give me a trial because I win. They won't drop it because they look like idiots. So they just keep postponing it. They are using nothing but fear and intimidation. That's what this whole COVID pandemic is about.
All right. So I like that guy. And that's the other thing. Okay, so they're charging taxes. First off, those tickets, right, are fraud. Why are they fraud? Because they give you the copy. And anytime you're billed for anything, you're supposed to get the original. So, check out the acts. They're in there. Oh, man. Terrible shit to read. Bill of Exchange Act. Number 2. The guy is he obviously knows some laws, right? He obviously knows, what the rights afforded to a Canadian citizen are, because he reads, right? He reads those terms. But here's the problem. What can be entitled to you, that title can be stripped of you. All right? So if there's an order from above, like in the Canadian Forces, a soldier can refuse to follow an order if it's a bad order. If he believes that it's, say if somebody says, we're going to destroy this village and everybody in it, he can not follow it on those grounds. And could he be shot on the spot? Probably. Depending on who his CO is. Can he be hauled off to jail? The MPs, yes. And then eventually stand before a tribunal, right? And that's exactly what happens to you. You stand before a tribunal. And these are not courts. When you're at provincial court, that's a tribunal. It's an administrative tribunal. And I've talked about this in the past. And this pertains to Canada, right? But common law pertains to every common law land. And the rights of man pertain to the free world, period. And you'll find opinions about it in the Nuremberg trials, right? Even those countries. But here's the thing. Can you lose your right as a man or a woman? Well, no, you can't, because they're yours. It's property. Unless you give it away, unless you give that right away, you have to give consent, right? So why can they haul Chris away next time? Because he's identifying as part of the corporate body. He's identifying as a citizen. I tell folks all day long, if you wish to have some kind of government paperwork that says, there's a man or a woman here, the registration of live birth, right? I'm sure they're going to be going after those eventually, but don't think that these folks within the privy, the people that hold esteem and high titles, don't think they don't know that they're a man or a woman first. And so if you separate a man or a woman from their property, that is a trespass. Now, if you separate a citizen from their constitutional rights and break whatever enactments that they claim to have, well, it's their shit. They can break whatever they want. And if they decide, hey, we're not going to follow this rule, they're not going to follow the rule. They don't have to. Who's going to hold them to account? A low office holder like you? Right? Did I put that up there? Hang on a second. I like having that up. I think I just enjoy having that up. Let's just see here. Two. Let's see. No, not that one. Okay. Let's add it. I'm just going to bring it up here first. And then I'm going to bring it up here. And window capture. I know, fucking boomers. Can't do nothing with a boomer. Crazy. Creepy smile, yeah. There we go. You owe us. Why I owe you. And you have the right to ask, why do I owe you? Right? Like, why do I owe you? Well, you're a Canadian citizen, aren't you? And I've had that thrown at me. Well, you're a citizen, aren't you? Well, who says? And what right do you have to force me into your society? I have my society that I created, that I am the author of. Okay? There's me and the co-author. I have my society, all right? The folks that I befriend, that's part of my society. The kids that I authored, that's part of my society. That is my society. All right? Now anything that comes from the corporate body is a benefit. It's a benefit because they're operating on our land. How are they operating on our land? By way of a trust corporation. It's a corporate body trust. And they're breaking the trust. These rules, let's check. There you go. There's the one that is going after your right to go from point A to point B without being unnecessarily detained. There's one that's gonna, if you don't do what you're told, you're going to be taken away, right? Shackled and thrown in a bus to an undisclosed location. All right, that's the guy right there. Okay, now he's the so-called leader of the gang. I was telling somebody the other day, it was an American dude or woman, I can't remember, but it was like what I say? I said, hey, if you want to know the U.S.'s future, look at Canada. If you want to know Canada's future, just look at China. And that's exactly where they're bringing us. And if you don't conform, they will figure a way to conform you. Economic, social, political rights. A lot of guys are trying to use the human rights, okay? Or not this one, sorry. British Medical Journal, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A lot of folks use this, but you got to understand that when those two covenants, okay, this one here, International Covenant of Civil Political Rights, Did I put up the other one? Yeah, International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. They were based on the idea of this. So this Universal Declaration of Human Rights is not law. All right. So I may use this as a comparative. Not only do I claim I have the right, but I also believe that the legal society maintains the same position. Would I use anything from this as by itself? Not a chance. Why? Because it's the legal society didn't make it law. But you see here, no one shall be held in slavery or servitude, slavery, and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all its forms. I have stood at court with this and had total agreement from the man in the black robe. Okay, look at this. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the security of person. So you're using this stuff as a citizen. You're standing on this, and they're saying, well, it doesn't matter. They don't have to follow through. But the legal society can reason anything away. All right? Let's take a look at that. Okay, everyone means everyone. Okay, so that's a citizen, that's a man, it's a woman, it's da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. Now, this is not a law. Okay? Now, we'll find that in a lot of our old laws, our common law. You know, the Americans will find it in their Bill of Rights. I mean, you can see it everywhere. But my rights do not derive from this piece of paper. Right? So, what does it mean? It's just a shadow of what really is. Right? And you'll notice they got everyone there. That means everyone. You know? Okay, what else? No one shall be subjected to torture, cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. Yet, your man, you know, is doing it. You know, your dude. This guy is doing it to you and your family. You're paying this guy huge amount of money, right? To act like a child king tyrant. That's what's going on. The Emergency Act, right in the preamble, right? Whereas the fulfillment of those obligations in Canada. Now, there's a difference between being in Canada and at Canada. In Canada may be seriously threatened by a national emergency in order to ensure safety, security during such an emergency. They've never proven the emergency. The Governor and Council should be authorized, subject to the supervision of Parliament, to take special temporary measures that may not be appropriate in normal times. And whereas the Governor and Council, in taking such special temporary measures, would be subject to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Canadian Bill of Rights, which I've never ever seen anybody hold up in court. I've never seen anybody be able to hold up any part of the Bill of Rights at court. That is the most disrespected piece of legislature that there is at court, even though they seem to like to brag about it, you know, and must have regard to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Okay, so the civil and political rights, right? So, you know, all peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status. They freely determine their political status. That means, you know, you can't be socially ostracized by the establishment for it, and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. Well, if my cultural development says, no, I don't wish to be thrown in a cage today. I don't wish to pay $2,000 for your shitty rooms that the Chinese government owns, right? I don't understand why not everybody's not in the streets or on the streets protesting, you know? What was I looking for here specifically? You know, You know, like here's another one. In no case may a people be deprived of its. Now you see how people deprived of its own means of substance. So they don't even see people as man, as one who's living and breathing. They see people as an object. What is a person? A person is an act. Okay? A person is fiction. It's not alive unless a man or a woman makes it alive. You cannot be any of the trans whatever stuff they got going on now, you know, unless there's a man or a woman that acts as, you know. I wish to be seen as, right? Okay, you're seen as, right? Well, that's fictional because it's just not reality, right? But, you know, administration, you know, so self-determination. I mean, these guys are breaking every one of the rules. My point on all this my point on all this is all these documents are what put public servants in the box. All these, anybody who identifies as a Canadian, as an Albertan, as British Columbian, as a person, okay, within, now a person means corporation. It's in the interpretation. Everybody knows this, right? Except for, well, you know, teachers that now claim that math is discriminative. It's, yeah, you're discriminating because you're teaching math. Like they want our young ones dumbed down so bad that they won't be able to add or subtract. What they do wish to have you, and I heard fucking Lance talking about this a number of times, you know. They say you need a minimum of grade 8, and the reason is because that way you can learn to sign your name. And then I was just talking to, I believe it was a lady, and she said the school said to her kid, you know, to sign a contract of good behavior and all this kind of shit. The kid is underage. The kid can't be signing any contracts, but they're going around the family unit because now they believe they're all co-parents of your kids. Okay, and you, they are co-parents of the citizen. And she said, yeah, just sign it, you know, all rights reserved. Well, I told her, I said, you know, I like to put non-assumption on it, you know, which means no contract. Assumption means contract. But at the same time, anybody hands you a document and there's only one signature that's yours, it's as if you authored the document and created it yourself. And you're binding yourself to your own document. I always tell people, don't sign anything that doesn't have two signatures. What good is that? Right? Well, I can't get, and I can't get, and I can't get. Well, poor you. You can't get because you want. You want, and you're found wanting. So you're going to sell your soul, right? You're going to sell your soul because you want. I mean, it's look, things are going to get worse. Things are going to get worse, man. Things are going to get tough around here. You know, and when Trudeau talks about, when he said there the other day, you know, Canadians don't have a right to protect themselves. Well, maybe Canadians don't have a right to protect themselves, but every man, every woman on this land is born with that right. That is property, the property of I, to protect myself, to protect, because this is my property. For you to force me or extort me by way of threat or loss of benefits from the corporate body is wrong. Wrong meaning, I woke up this morning, how can I fuck this guy over? And anybody that's forcing euthanasia, forcing you to take some kind of shot, forcing anything on you by way of extortion is wrong. Now, all benefits, all titles are benefits. Okay? I remember a number of years ago, and it was in the 90s, and I think Chrétien was in. A guy had been living abroad for a number of years or whatever, and his parents moved down. He went to school down in that country that he was at, and he went to come home, and they wouldn't let him across the border because they said, no, we're not, you lost your citizenship. And he didn't. He was still a Canadian. You know, he still had his Canadian citizenship. Nobody told him. They just didn't want him here. You know, and there's paperwork on that as well, and including the international covenants. You know, so you can't. So what they're doing right now, for you to come in under the guise of this state of the emergency or whatever, this planned emergency, is they're extorting folks. If you come in, you have to go to here, and if you don't go to here, then we are going to shackle and cage you, and that's extortion by way of threat, and that's how it should be dealt with. You know, they got all these administrative tribunals called human rights courts. They're in every province. They're federal. They're all over the place. You know, there's one good thing. Harper was getting rid of those because they're fucking nonsense. You know, we have one court that sees man, and that's Supreme Court, Superior Court, and Queen's Bench. And yes, if you know the pandemic has destroyed your life and you need to hold court, you can go in and start your case for free as a pauper. You know, I just don't have the resources, and you have a right to that court, or at least at one time you had a right, that man or woman had a right to hold court, because there has been an injustice, and that injustice is a trespass. And I wish this trespass to stop, and it's not stopping. And this is why I'm always on to you guys about writing documents. You know, draw up a document. You know, it's called a fucking pen. It's funny, my favorite pen, people ask me, hey, if I have a pen and it's got a cap on the end, right? And they're twisting and they're poking and they say, how the fuck does this pen work? Right? And I pull the cap off. It's like, that's how bad it is these days. That's how bad it is. But the number one reason that you're writing or authoring these drawings is so that, or drawing up these documents or authoring these documents, is that you can have these are your schedules for court or exhibits, depending on where, you know, the style of court in your neighborhood, right? And you know, I mean, these guys, this fucking gang, oh, not that gang, yeah, that gang right there, okay? That gang is breaking every rule in the book, every law that he is supposed to be held under. And you look at him, and you look at me, and you go, well, how am I going to hold him accountable? And that's something, you know, Canadians for years have gone on about, well, we're not like Americans because Americans are always, you know, suing each other. Well, maybe it's a goddamn good thing because they're well in practice to sue each other. But I'll tell you right now, Americans ain't more savvy, ain't any more savvy than a Canadian to hold court as a man or a woman. I can tell you that right now. They're just as dumb fucked down as we are. There's no difference. I think the Limeys are worse. I think they're so far, you know, modern day freedom was what basically England brought to the world through Great Britain. Modern day freedom. And, you know, we're almost to a point where we were almost to a point where it was live and let live for the best part. You know, I hear, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, cops are killing black people, so we all gotta be, now we all have to turn into a bunch of fucking retards and you know, act like these zombie citizens. Right? You're on your way, baby? Right. You know, we never had to act like a zombie citizen to begin with. You know, yeah, interfering with families, the family unit. It's, Trudeau put out a document. I did a show on it. I'm sure the document's still there. I think the show's still there. But, that he had one of the generals write up. Who are the enemies? White men. Christians. Bye, babe. Families and so on and so forth. The enemies of the state. Anybody, and Trudeau wasn't lying when he said, when he came out and he said we were a post-state and old stock Canadians and stuff. He was talking about the nation. He was talking about the nation. He does not like Canadians as a nation. Okay, he's all about Canada as a corporate body politic because then they can just break the rules. They have breached the trust. And handfuls, I see people protesting now in bigger forms. But really what I would like to see was people writing. People putting, drawing up documents in written form to send. I write to your MP, write to your MLA, write to the school board, write to everybody. But I don't think anybody's going to do it. I think most folks are just going to flop over and take it up the yin yang. They're already talking about giving it to you up the yin yang for their pandemic, for their kung flu. It's not mine. I don't want it. It's not my pandemic. I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with it. And for the medical association to come on any doctors that want to prescribe basic over-the-counter safe meds that have been peer reviewed to deal with it. Did I put my warning up? So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I honestly don't give a shit whether they take my stuff down. I don't give a shit. I'm not monetized anyways. I believe I did put in the link though, for that a man or woman that did get a hold of me this morning. Yeah, I put that up for you, so you can go ahead. I'll be taking it off soon, so grab it while you can. But yeah, it's fucked, and I am just so I had a huge abdominal operation this winter. Otherwise, what I wanted to do is I wanted to crack jokes and go to these assemblies and interview folks. I think it'd be kind of cool to ride my motorcycle around and go to different events and stuff and find out, and just on the street and find out what people think. I want to. Yeah, no. But I do wish to do an audition for the Rebel, right? And even if they don't want me, I still wish to interview folks. I'd love to get to 1,000 subs, so that I could just live stream right there, right on the street. Which was, but we'll see. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? The biggest problem here with the broadband, it has very slow upload. Even though I can live stream now and I had things fixed and this and that, it really pisses my family off to upload, and off a phone because the camera is so. I know what you call exact. It takes forever. It's a lot of information to process. So like a short vid, like you say, while I'm walking the dogs, it can take me 8 hours just to upload. It is what it is. So I'm not using it as an excuse not to do something. Obviously, when I had no internet and the phone lines were down and the fucking trees were falling and this and that, I went and found some internet and sat in my fucking truck and did a couple of shows. I did more than a couple. A few I didn't put up. You know, it is what it is. Okay, sorry. I hate that saying as well. Yeah, terrible saying. Terrible saying. Yeah. Let me be clear. You know, but unless folks stand. So listen, there is no constitutional rights. There is no Bill of Rights. There is no covenants of international civil and political rights and social and cultural rights unless a man or woman stands. And so your rights do not derive from these papers. Should I find that right now? I'll show you. Fuck, it was just up this morning there with, how can I do this without cutting myself off? Not like cutting off as in ending the stream, cutting myself off so you can see this handsome mug while I'm beaking off and looking this up. See, that's the problem. When YouTube, I guess, changed something. So when I go through Streamlabs, I have to stream this privately on my YouTube and to stream publicly on through my Streamlabs. And last time I was doing this, I didn't see anybody on the chat, but it turned out there was people on the fucking chat. So I'm still working on it. You know, I need to run into some teenager and get a little help. I got a left-wing computer buddy, but he's too close to a boomer, and he hates anybody that believes in individual and personal rights and freedoms. You know, he's totally a Nancy Pelosi, you know, Trudeau nose up his ass of Biden kind of follower dude. Yeah. And the thing that fucking I just don't get is, why do you have to be, oh great, remind me later, why do you have to be, like, if you don't agree with somebody, why do you have to be thrown into the Roman circus of lions and Christians? You know, like, I don't fucking get that way of thinking. Like, well, there's pretty much nothing that I can agree with Trudeau. I can find a lot more common ground with Chrétien. Chrétien back in the day did want to, he wanted to decriminalize pot, right? And I thought that was a good idea. And because I knew if you legalize pot, there's just going to be too much shit involved, and then and it is. So there's too much shit involved, and it is what it is. Oh, I said it again. Damn it. But you know, and it's going to get worse. And a bunch of guys made money investing and then getting out, you know, as quick as they got in. And now I think they're all fighting bankruptcy right now. Like in my valley, potential growers, okay, not even growers, but potential growers, they had set up and got authorized for, you know, a bunch of three-phase power and stuff, and then to the point where there is no more to allow for this area. So if I did set up something else that took a lot of power, say like a charging station on the highway. Say I wanted to set up a charging station on the highway. I can't get the power to do it for those environmental cars, right? Because it's just not here. We just don't produce it. Most of it's sold to California, and they don't pay their fucking bill to us, right? Okay. Yeah, I was gonna find that. So yeah, this morning. So we got Chris, 2 days ago. Okay, here let's just see if we can find it. But we have Chris 2 days ago. You know, going on about. Hey, there I am. Yeah. Look at that, eh? Let's go Rebel. I don't know if I'm allowed to use their shit or not. I don't have a clue. Isn't that fair use? Isn't there like a news thing with fair use? Oh, Trudeau doesn't recognize their fair use? Doesn't recognize them being journalists or what? Where the hell was Menzie this morning here? Here we go. Oh, it's live. What makes a rebel reporter? Oh, I better watch that if I got. Geez. Oh. Okay, that's the old one. That's 4 days. This just happened. I just saw this morning. Fight the fines. Conservative Party. What Conservative Party? What Conservative Party? What the hell? Come on, Dave. Come on, Menzies. Come through for me here. I mean, this just went up this morning, I believe. Yeah, look at this. Millions of young people are depressed and it's getting worse. Of course it is. They're killing society. They're killing this nation. Trudeau needs to kill the nation. If he doesn't kill this nation, then he can't build his new state. Yeah, I like that lady that's on there. Jesus, Lord Tundren by. How could it be so hard to find? It just happened today. And I watched it, so it should have a red line on it. Oh. Here we go.
Censorship. Warning. Censorship.
Oh,
Okay, Carl,
you can't see shit.
And now, do you have to go to a government quarantine hotel?
Yes, and we pay $4,000 to $2,000 for each room.
Wow. Tell me, do you have to stay at a government quarantine hotel now, or?
Yes.
So, if I could see a chat, if somebody was on the chat, then somebody could have told me that I've been beaking off for half an hour and you can't see fuck all. Oh. Does that fuck up the whole live stream? Probably. Oh, you see what happens when you put a boomer in computers and software and, this shit is tiring, man. This shit is tiring. But whatever. It's too funny. If I wasn't so tired, I've been up since 3. If it wasn't so tiring, I'd laugh. Okay. I don't even think coffee would do me any good. But okay, so we got Chris Guy, right? Just the other day. Okay.
Perfectly acceptable. Thank you.
And now we got this guy
Oh, hey, Chris.
today.
We've tried to get through to the 1-800 number without any luck.
I tried 15 times.
15 times.
Yeah.
And you couldn't speak to a live person.
They keep disconnecting you. As soon as someone
That's what happened to us.
disconnect, yeah.
Yeah. I hate to heap more criticism on this government, but it doesn't seem they can get anything right when it comes to this far.
It seems difficult, and you shouldn't be taking people against their own will, especially if they have a negative test, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're coming back, you're hit with $2,000. That's a big stress on the pocket.
Yeah.
I think is way too overly excessive. They should do something about it. Like, it's too much. It's too much.
David Menzies for Rebel News here at Toronto Pearson International Airport. And folks, this is the Monday in which the new flight regulations kick in. Toronto is one of 4 airports, along with Vancouver, Montreal, and Calgary, that are still accepting international flights. But as I said, there are new rules, and basically this is what you need to know. You have to get a COVID-19 molecular test, not the rapid test, and that result must have been in the last 3 days. Then when you arrive here, you are going to be retested, and then you have to book a 3-night stay at a government-approved hotel near the airport at which you're arriving. And that's going to cost you perhaps up to $2,000 of your own money to stay in that government hotel. By the way, if you refuse the test, you are going to be transported to a government quarantine facility.
Okay, so there's the point. Okay, so yeah, I screwed up the thing because I still had that UOS up there. Fuck. That's the thing, eh? The way this is set up now, like I used to be able to just go on the Streamlabs and then I would have me on there and then whatever windows I wanted to open and whatever, I could see what the hell I was doing. And now it's a back and forth game and I don't know what the fuck, but I'll just keep it up, and if people are still going to watch, okay, I'll probably keep it up if people don't watch anyways. What do I care? It's just like all I'm trying to do, and it's my own wish. Listen, man, I'm coming to the end of my life cycle, all right? And all I wish to do is get some information out there. I mean, 20 and 30 years from now, when we've allowed all our young ones to be incorporated into slavery through Bill Gates and China and Winnie the Pooh and the Trudeau gangs and the whole works of them, then this will be out. Even if they get rid of it, it's still going to be out, and it's going to be, hey, every man and every woman used to have inalienable, unalienable rights. Simple as that. And every man or woman does have inalienable and unalienable rights. We all do. But if you recognize yourself as a person, as a citizen, those are actually benefits, or being seen as a citizen is a benefit. And if you're seen as a citizen, then you're seen as that person, which is a corporation within the corporate body trust. How hard is that to come across? How hard is that to figure out? Like, seriously. People need to get their fucking head around this. You were first, or I am first, man. You may address me as Al. Right? They say, well, I want your name, I want your name. You got to give us your name. What do you mean? My name is property. That's property. You're going to force me to give you your name, so you're going to extort me by way of threat if I don't give you my property? That's fucking unlawful. You starting to get it yet? I hope so. Now, who are you? I'm a man. You're a man, aren't you? Are you a man? I'm a man. Are you a man? Well, yeah. But what's your name? Well, that's property. But you may address me as Al. Where do you live? Right here. I did that one time. I was coming off the mountain down what we call the Skyway. It's pretty high. It's, I think it's just under 8,000 feet, or just over 8,000 feet going over the Skyway. But, so I'm coming down, and they got the game wardens out, coppers, right? So, it's nighttime, and it's snow everywhere, and this and that, right? And fucking, and so this guy says to me, he says, well, where do you live? And I'm looking at him, here. It's just like, fuck. Where you live in Selma? No. These fucking guys. But okay, look. My point is, the corporate body trust is at war with every man, woman, and young one on this land. And they're coming at you through the person, okay? The presumed person. And the minute they can assume or presume that you are the person, then they say, oh, now I got legal right to beat the shit out of you, shackle you, throw you in a cage, and take you to an undisclosed location. Now, what do you use to take international flights? Exactly. Use a passport. Right? Whose passport is it? It's Canada's passport. If you take that, I saw an old hippie, and I was alluding to this a few shows ago. And there was an old hippie in Toronto that was he was really close. He was using his live births. He went over to the Foreign Affairs office, and he had him stamp it, and then he was going to go over to the U.S. Consulate and get it stamped there. There's a passport, and it is. But if you take that one step further, and this is what, back in the day, and I've talked about this, I just didn't tell anybody exactly the full formula, but because I was keeping it close to my chest. But seriously, man, this is outrageous what's going on. So whether you're taking that birth certificate or taking the live birth, right? It's the long form birth certificate. There's a few different names for it, but it's the one the doctor signed, said that there's a man or woman that is bore off of this land, and you can actually send it in, and they will do it quick. And what they will do is it's already certified when you get it, but the not authorized it. What do they do? Oh God, I just had a boomer mind blank. But if you send it back to have it authenticated, and then they'll give it back to you. Now that authentication of that, whether it's the birth certificate or whether it's the live birth, that now becomes a passport recognized in countries that don't recognize passports. And there are countries, not every country is part of the UPU, the Universal Postal Union. So the Universal Postal Union will honor somebody, say somebody from a country, a nation that is not part of the UPU. They send a parcel to me through the mail. They honor whatever that nation decides is what it's valued to send the parcel, right? And so this is why I get away with sending, the cheapest stamp I can find, and I can send you a letter, or you can send I a letter, right? Because and I don't write without Canada on there. Now I have had the posties, my postie, she's whatever she does, she's not savvy on the UPU rules, but I've had the odd one, send it back and say, and I say, hey, this isn't coming from within Canada, so send it. And so I've had, say 80% well through that, and 20% not so well, depending on who you're dealing with. When I came on to my so-called postie here, she didn't even know what a UPU was. But if I go down to, say, the city that's 30 minutes or 40 minutes away, oh yeah, no, they know exactly who the UPU is because they're in charge. And that's international. You don't fuck with those guys, So if you're getting fucked around at the post office and they don't wish to date stamp something and so on and so forth, just upload or download the UPU rules. And then you find out which one they're breaking on you, and then you go and you put in a complaint on that. Now, I never did on her because she's my neighbor and she just doesn't know any better. And you know what, I get stuck going to the city anyway, so I might as well just go down there where they know how to act, Mind you, I was in and out of there record time yesterday. Woohoo! Fuck, I hate that place. Well, I don't hate it. I just don't like being there. Right? It's noon somewhere. Is it noon here? Well, yeah, it is. It's noon here. All right. I was getting thirsty. I drank like a gallon of orange juice already. And I've been up since 3, so the coffee is just not on my list. Right? So yeah, Canada is prosecuting its authors. People who are writing books are being prosecuted. They're outlawing books, totally against the free world laws. Totally against the free world laws. They're hiring thugs to cause harm, loss, and injury. And the problem is, even though they're reaching through you, plural, right? The man or woman who acts as that person, they're still causing harm to a man, and people need to know how to hold these folks to account. At least try. I mean, if the courts totally failed, then like we're at war right now. They have declared, okay, the establishment here has declared war on this nation. So the country, the corporate body politic, this corporate body trust, has declared war on this nation. And they've done it by dumbing down fucking students in higher learning. They're doing it by attacking the family unit in grade school. They're doing it by claiming that because they're legally co-parents, so on and so forth. But your faith is under attack. Your movement is under attack. Your property is under attack. All your property is under attack. What did Trudeau tell you? And he's not a liar. He's not fucking lying. Yeah, he doesn't answer questions, but I don't hear him fucking lying. Maybe he does. He sure looks like a liar. But I don't hear him lying too often. And he's telling you straight out that he's coming after property that no one, or no citizen will be owning property. Right? The freedom of not owning nothing, of owning nothing. And they're not talking, you guys are thinking about your Kia, you're thinking about your home, or the house. Everybody calls it a house. I think of it, my home is my castle. It's a home, it's not a fucking house. Right? I don't use lot numbers. I use my street address. Why? Because that identifies where my home is. A lot number just identifies part of the corporate trust dowry, kitty, that they can go borrow money on, and now we can't borrow money. But why? They just throw us into debt like a fucking zillion dollars, a zillion fictional dollars in debt now. So what they're doing is any property that's registered with the corporate body trust, whether it's provincial, territorial, or federal, is now been maxed out on usury. It maxed out. They have used your shit to borrow, to give to what, 400 million to China, to the airline, 40 million to the slavers in Libya, right? Whatever, to whoever, right? And now the public store, or the corporate store, which is the lots. Okay, these are lots within the corporate store. It's not like a lot, as you would think any man or woman sane would think, wow, that's a lot. Well, no, it's actually a home. It's a castle with an address. Okay, it's actually property with an address. All right, you may address my property as 1234 fucking Sesame Street. Okay, but what a lot of people don't understand is these lots, they're shelved within the corporate trust in the store, and then some goofball, some fat ball fucker, or let's see, that guy there, he's going, hey, look at what we have in store. Now you give me money. Right? And meanwhile, you don't get the fact that this guy just put all your shit up to borrow that fucking fictional shit so that he could give it to all his fucking buddies. No wonder why, and you wonder why. You think it's a joke that you'll be happy and own nothing because somebody gave it all away. Do you know how to write the municipality? Do you know how to write the regional district? Whoever where lands and titles is registered? Do you know how to write them and put a claim on that fucking property? Probably not. Why? Because you don't give a shit, because you're just a lazy fucking useful idiot for, ta-da, that guy. There's your king. There's your fucking king. You know, I had some guy come on to me. I was talking about, I don't know, you know, guys are going on about gun laws and shit, right? And the guy says to me, it was through, you know, I just made a comment on something. And to me, it's what's lawful and legal. And that's the way I look at stuff. Thanks, Carl. Bastard. But anyways, you know, for me, it's lawful and legal. And that's the way I look at stuff. And I'm looking at things, you know, I think it was about this, you know, Canadians don't have a right to protect themselves. Well, no. Canadians probably don't have a right to protect themselves, because to be a Canadian is to it's a privilege. To be a Canadian is not a right. It's a privilege within the corporate body trust. Now, that's a Canadian citizen. As a Canadian nationalist, it is my right because I am of and from this land. And my society mostly is of and from this land. So yeah, I don't know, I just got off and went blank, but fucking ranting. Yeah, what else? What else do we have here? So, but the important thing is, you know, I was going to write something up for one guy text me or whatever, messaged me, and wanted me to go on more about the, what do you call it? How to bill. Like, you know, I think he mentioned something. You know, the way I read it was, you know, well, how do I bill the government or whatever, right? And basically, anytime, because slavery is outlawed in all its forms on this land, you have to consent, okay? Now, so if you're laying an order on me, I will consent to fulfill your order to the best of my ability. I may not be able to fulfill your order to the best of my ability, or the best of my ability, may not be what you expected of me, you know. But you should have asked me first if I was capable before you gave a legal idiot like me a fucking order to fulfill. So, you know, say if you're giving me a you know, some kind of legal fucking homework, well, don't give it to me, because I'm a legal fucking idiot, and I'm the first to tell you. And I've stood at Queen's Bench and explained that to everybody. You know, what's hard to... Do you see my thing on the wall that qualifies me to be a learned member? No. So, okay, so orders, sorry. So orders. I'm going to laugh more. The worse this gang gets, the more I'm going to laugh. I've been thrown in cages. I've been shackled. I've been fucking beat up by the Gestapo. Oh yeah, for sure. I remember the last guy, he's like, "He did not recognize my authority," and then he started labeling me a free man. You know, well, they already got that on my CPAC, right? You know, free man. And it's like, fuck, free man what? You know, why would I narrow myself down to something like that? Right? Now, I am man, okay? Man. You're man. I'm man. What the fuck is your issue? All right? And anyways, I was just asking a legitimate question from the man who acts as an officer. And all he did was freak out like a little fucking girl. And he was my age. Maybe a couple, yeah, my age. You know? And he's freaking out like a little girl. And he's writing up little fucking tattletale stories, fictional stories, to make me look bad. For what? To fulfill his quota? Because I asked him a question and now he's insulted that I'm not taking his dictatorship serious over me when I'm not under arrest? Like, go fuck yourself. I have rights. And they're endowed to me by my creator. They're not from you. They're not from covenants. They're not from charters. They're not from British North American Act 1867. They're not from fucking Diefenbaker's useless Bill of Rights. Can I enforce these things? You bet I can. but not as standing under him. The best you can do at court is to stand as man, act as man, talk as man, and say, not only do I claim I have this right, but I believe the legal society maintains the same position. Compare it to this shit. And I bet you for one standing, just one standing, you could probably find 156 different legal fucking quotes, writs, whatever, that maintain the same position as you claim as your right. And privacy and property, well, privacy is property. You know, that's the other thing that's pissed me off with all these gangsters, is that you know, they're all keeping everything from everybody. You're not allowed to have a discussion. You're not allowed to see anything. You're not allowed to fucking ask anything. And yet, if you stand in your own right, as any man, any woman's right to privacy, property, they'll say, well, if you're not hiding anything, then why won't you show it? Well, fuck, you're the public servant, and you won't show it. And you're breaking all the rules. Which means, if you're breaking all the rules, then you're out of the mandate of your office, which means you're on your personal liability now. Well, how are you going to enforce it? Well, that is kind of tricky, isn't it? You need to learn how to get a case going. You need to learn how to stand. You need to learn how to speak. And you need to learn how to act as a man, as a woman. Not go in there with your righteous indignation and go puke all over the fucking place. Go spew, talk nonsense, babble on for hours about nothing. They already do that all day in there, within those buildings. You know, a claim can be one sentence. One fucking sentence. Trespass. What's a trespass? There. Trespass was this. You know, the claim is trespass. Now, see Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. You know, which is the same as saying Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. And this again is where what you do author, what you do draw up and author in written form and send off to these guys are your schedules and exhibits. Now you have to have a man or a woman who's crooked. Crooked, wrong, same word, except for one syllable. But a wrongdoer is someone who woke up to think how they're going to fucking crook you out of something. How am I going to crook you out of your fucking rights? How am I going to crook you out of this? How am I going to force you to make this? How am I going to force you to do that? You know, a lot of times, like I've called helping guys out with stuff, with legal stuff, or you know, where there's been a trespass, and the legal society is in their face. I see extortion, like just unlimited amounts of extortion coming from these legal persons all fucking day long, and I call them on it all day long. And to get the test and to be forced into a hotel, otherwise you're going to get shackled, probably beat up if you resist, thrown in a cage and taken off to an undisclosed location. Guys, everybody should be in the streets with their torches and pitchforks. But you know what? Canadians are the worst. Canadians are the worst. Anyways, I'm gonna let this go at that. Yeah. So for Buddy, I was going to actually do just a show, just basically on writing up a bill. Oh, I was going there, wasn't I? And that's when I blanked earlier. It's funny how this shit comes back to you. I'm not totally boomed out. Okay, this here is an order. signed by Bonnie Henry in BC, right? Okay. Now, you can see the woman's signature, and then you can see all her titles. Bonnie Henry, MD, P, blah, 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 right? All the beautiful gobbledygook. All right, so she's qualifying her signature and she's acting legal. That's why she's on the left and not on the right, right? She is the debtor, okay? She is the debtor, and she put out an order, and the order, this order does not have an expiration date. Hey, there you go. Isn't that sweet? Hey, you see that? Isn't that wonderful? Right? Oh, Jesus. Anyways. But you find the order. Right? And the signature. See how it's dated and signed? It's a genuine order. That's who you send the bill to. And how do you send the bill? Well, you make up a fucking bill. I shouldn't tell somebody in business how to make up a bill. Mind you, most people these days, they just go down in the store and they buy these invoice books. Now, invoice where I come used to be you get on the phone, you say to your wholesaler or whatever, hey, I need this, 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 and this. Okay, there's the invoice, and then they send it to you. You know, they usually email it to you, and then you say, okay, yeah, it's good. Okay, there we go. But just an order, you know. Orders fulfilled. I am going to write up a bill. But I get caught up, and man, it's time. And you know, getting this, it's probably the best I did live streaming through OBS so far. Yay, except for leaving the you thing up. It's fucking stupid. Just looking, fuck, I look red. I don't know why. Well, we did have sun for a couple days. I got sun. Yeah, there, I'm having an allergic reaction to the juice. That's weird. I'm so white, I'm fucking pink. I'm colored. Alright. Next one I'll do is I'll make up an order. But don't forget, okay, so this is the way I see it and the way I understand it, all right? The Governor General and the Attorney General, the Lieutenant Governor and the Attorney General, it's like they split the monarch's title in half. So one does the organization half of the title of Queen, you know, and one does the enforcement side of Queen or King. Okay, one is on the provincial, one is on the federal. And so I never send something to one ever. I always send to all who's ever involved. Say I'm writing the superintendent of the school board. Okay, say I send them a document, letting them know that my property is at such and such a place, and here's what you can do and can't do with it, right? And so it goes to the principal, and it goes to who's ever in charge of the school board, plus the school board attendant for that area. It goes to the AG, and it goes to the LT, all right? And if there's anybody else, depending on the circumstance, they get it. Now what I do is I hand draw copies, or I hand draw originals to everybody, all right? And I let them know who got it. So I make sure that they know who I CC'd it to. Because if they wish to have some phone calls and discussions over this man and his property, they can do so, because I'm not hiding. I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm not trying to hide, and I'm not trying to be tricky. What I do though, is I stand on my rights. How I stand, or property, but how I stand on said property depends on the situation, the stance, okay? So the hardest part, and what I told this guy here, and I will do it, I'll do it. I'll see if I can do it maybe tonight, tomorrow. Maybe I'll go have a nap. Now I got to get out for I'm trying to stay at a 6-mile hike up the trail through the snow. Now I got 3 months of exercise and kung fu and weightlifting and kinesiology to do before I can go back into mainstream, life, fixing, wrenching, swimming, tackling my brothers when he's not looking, that kind of stuff. And so I'll see what I can do for you, but it's really not that hard, Now whether they pay or not, it doesn't matter. But I personally, just what I'm accustomed to now is I keep my bills limited. Like, as a businessman, you never let a customer owe you too much. You can't, because then the more you allow them to be indebted to you, the more you have to lose. And so, the guy has to keep it down to a reasonable price. And I think keeping all orders down to the price of, say, just less than small claims is plenty to owe somebody, especially when you've been ordered. You say, well, a lot of guys don't understand. Well, I don't get it. Well, I just read to you a few minutes ago, out of all these stupid documents, slavery is outlawed in all its forms. Involuntary servitude is outlawed in all its forms. If you wish to give me an order, especially if you got one signed and dated, like Bonnie Henry's, you got this order, you fulfill this order, you send the bill. There's nothing hard about it. All my bills are handwritten. Yes, it looks elementary. Yes, they tend to wave you off. Yes, you go to court. Yes, they have very expensive lawyers paid by the taxpayer. Ha ha! Paid off of our royalties. I hear a lot about the taxpayer, but I don't hear much about the royalties that this corporate body trust does collect on our behalf. For us, on our behalf, in trust, for us. That's our benefit. That's everybody's benefit. And now they're giving it away to other countries, guys. They're giving it away. They're training. They're training enemy combatants on your back. Your land. Because you and the land are one. And you have enemy combatants that are training on this land, on you. Who's paying for that shit? That's the other thing I'd like to know. So bankrupt the little people. Give public monies to their friends, corporations, their charities. Government shouldn't be allowed to give any money to any charity or nonprofit. Ever. If nonprofit charity does wish to have people donate to them, first people have to have a job. So they have something in their pocket to donate. That's number one. So you're being forced to donate to the slave trade in Libya. How do you feel about that? You're being forced to donate, to give money to not just a foreign airline, but our enemies. China's not our friend. Chinese government is our enemy. They're tyranny. They kill people. They harvest organs from babies and stuff. Half Canadians don't give a shit about that because they don't recognize a baby as a man or a woman with any kind of rights. They recognize half of Canadians look at babies as parasites. It should be used for their fucking natural wealth, right? That's what's going on here. Yay. Aren't we fucking good? Aren't we the fucking useless, moronic idiots? Bankrupted little people. Attack anybody that doesn't agree with the fucking corporate body narrative. You know, it's all gone. Well, it's not yet. You still have the courts. That's what I'm here for. You still have the courts. I always offer to help people. Anybody who needs help writing something, you know, drawing up something, or somebody draws something up and they want my help, I always offer to help. Nobody comes to me for help. Not off of here anyways. I always offer somebody's, you know, needs some help walking through the process. You know, if government's on your case about something, I'm here to help. But, you know, I don't mind that nobody, like, most of the people I help are word of mouth through people I help out, right? And I don't mind not being that busy with folks, because, tell you the truth, people fucking drive me up the wall. You know, everybody's always trying to be clever. Everybody's trying to get away with shit. You know, everybody thinks, you know, I don't know what people think, but I can reflect on what people think by looking at society today. Your fucking society kills babies. Your society is teaching children to go and get their peepees cut off. Your society is bankrupting the whole fucking nation. Families are being thrown on the street. Pastors are being fucking thrown in jail. They got a pandemic and they're killing society. Your society is killing our elderly that are supposed to be respected and revered. Because what? You got no more use for them? You don't want to pay for them, but you want to pay for slavery over in fucking Libya. Yeah. I don't want to be part of that fucking society. And it's my choice, and I don't have to be. I can have my castle on the land that I am of and from and part of. You're the fucking alien. Canada's the alien. The Canadian government is alien. The Canadian government owns no land. They're a jurisdiction. But they do own and operate the thugs with guns. And they will be using these thugs with guns more and more and more. How the fuck was that? You know, people are walking up to the legislative building to assemble, to protest their fucking freedom. And so this woman, okay, this demonically inspired woman who used to be premier, gets on the fucking phone, and then you got the Gestapo there, and then all of a sudden Antifa's there. And people are just being randomly picked out of the crowd and hauled off and shackled and hurt. Because this woman believes that she runs that province still. Where are the public servants? Where are these fuckers that claim to be here for you? Right? Like, Mr. Kenny, why didn't you go down to the legislative and talk with folks and see what they're saying? You going to watch it on CBC and get CBC's narrative? Hey, Kenny, why don't you tell those clowns down east that Alberta's not partaking with CBC anymore? Why don't you tell those clowns down east that, hey, no, gun laws are provincial. And we're not partaking in your fucking bullshit anymore. Why don't you tell those clowns down east, hey, we're gonna fix the water problem for our fucking Indian brothers here, and we're sending you the goddamn bill, bitch. Who is standing up for the people? Who's standing up for freedom? Who's standing up for rights? Who is coming out publicly and saying, what the fuck are you people doing? Bashing people's heads. Who's standing up for the people committing suicide? Who's standing up for the people with mental illness? Who's standing up for the old people? Which one of those public servants is overpaid, that is living the life of grandeur, while you lose everything? Where are those guys? There's but a small handful. But that's a whole other show. So, yeah, I'll see if I can do one just on sending bills. I mean, it's pretty elementary, and collecting on the bills is fairly elementary. It's just basically how to get a judgment and what to do with the judgment to collect on the bills, whether it's a default judgment or you just win, in a fair court, in a fair battle at a public venue. So that's I guess next on the agenda. Yay. I love doing boring paperwork. Yay. Anyways, I'm done. I gotta go get 6 miles under my belt to get rid of that which is over my belt. Have a great day, folks. God bless you all. And what can I say? If you're not fighting now, you'll be fighting later. Or you'll be sent to the gulags. Take your pick. Okay, let's see if I can do this right. So if I end stream.